How does this attecclitasis happens with anesthesia? There are three major mechanisms. One is absorption attecclitasis, next is compression attecclitasis, and third is a decreased surfactant leading to increased surface tension and leading to attecclitasis. What is absorption attecclitasis? You give a higher FiO2 during pre-oxygenation. This oxygen due to gradient moves to the pulmonary circulation, and there is a negative pressure which is created inside the alveoli, which leads to reabsorption attecclitasis. Because this gradient moves the oxygen there, and there is collapse of the alveoli which happens. This is absorption attecclitasis. Now coming to compression attecclitasis. Here, during awake spontaneous respiration, your diaphragmatic contraction and the accessory muscles of respiration, scalenus and interstitial, they contract and help the lung to expand further. This is the normal respiration. But with anesthesia, what is going to happen? You are paralyzing the muscle. There is decreased diaphragmatic tone. Thereby, the abdominal content compresses the lung. And with accessory muscle, there is loss of tone. This also pushes the lung inside the thoracic cavity, and with positive pressure ventilation there is going to be increased intrathoracic blood volume. All this increased intrathoracic blood volume, decreased diaphragmatic tone and the loss of accessory muscle respiratory tone will cause the expansion of the lung to come down, and there is basal attecclitasis. Okay, this is how, and with anesthesia and muscle paralysis, attecclitasis happen. So, your intrathoracic blood volume increases, diaphragmatic tone is reduced, your respiratory muscle tone is also halted. All this will compress the lung. And here you can see the normal diaphragmatic movement from the abdominal cavity, and this diaphragmatic movement will be lost with anesthesia. Now coming to the third cause, loss of surfactant. When you give positive pressure, the quantity comes down as well as the quality comes down, and here you can see the surfactant is altered and collapse happening. In low lung volume or a normal volume, the surface tension is directed inwards because the water particles on the walls wanted to interact. This is normally the surface tension will move inward and collapse doesn't happen. But in case of high lung volume, the surface tension is outwards because the water particles on the wall are pulled by bulk water outside the alveoli. Here it is moving outwards. So what happens? This is the normal surface tension reducing force with low lung volume or normal respiration. The flow of air is laminar, and here you can see the diameter nicely maintained for the flow of air. This happens when there is normal surfactant which reduces the surface tension. But if the surfactant is reduced or damaged, air flow becomes turbulent, and here you can see the diameter reduced when compared to presence of surfactant. So the flow is turbulent, the diameter is reduced when the surfactant is reduced. Here you can see the air going in. You give large tidal volume. This is the normal surfactant which maintains the architecture of the alveoli. But when you give more tidal volume, the surfactants will be damaged. Here you can see the surfactants is broken, which cannot maintain the integrity of the alveoli, and alveoli gets into attecclitasis. That is very important. When you give large tidal volume, the surfactant framework is altered and it may not be able to function normally and hold the tension, and it cannot reduce the tension. Thereby,